Thinking about getting a green card through EB-1A extraordinary ability? Then let me be very clear from the start. This is one of the hardest green card categories, and it's not for everyone. Hi everyone, this is immigration attorney Akalan. Lately, I've been getting the same questions over and over. Am I eligible for EB-1A? If I meet the 3 criteria, is that good enough? I have an O1. Does that mean I qualify automatically for EB-1A? The answers are not that simple, honestly, because EB-1A looks great on paper, but when misunderstood, it creates false expectations. In this video, I'll try to explain clearly what EB-1A really is, who it is for, what USCIS is actually looking at, the biggest mistakes people make, and how to evaluate your case realistically. And let's get into it. EB-1A is an employment-based green card category for individuals with extraordinary ability. This is not a temporary visa, this is a direct green card pathway. And the biggest advantage is no employer sponsorship required. You can apply on your own. No lottery like H-1B, no long-term process, no dependency on an employer. But here's the key point, just because you don't need an employer does not mean it's easy. No employer requirement is one thing, very high standards is another. That's where people get it wrong. EB-1A is not for everyone. This category is for people who are truly at the top of their field: science, arts, business, education, athletics. USCIS is asking one question: are you just a good professional, or are you among the top in your field? This is critical. EB-1A is not, I have a good career. It's definitely not, I'm good at what I do. They want to see, are you recognized? Do you have a major impact in your field? Do people reference your work? Have you played a critical role? Have you made a real difference? It is not just success. It's high-level, documented success. Let's talk about the most misunderstood part. Yes, there are 10 criteria for EB-1A, and you need to prove at least 3 of them. But the biggest mistake is this: thinking you kind of met 3 criteria and the case is done. No, that's not the case. The real question is, are you actually at the top of your field? It's not about checking the boxes, it's about proving those criteria very strongly. Let me give you a real example. Let's say you are relying on the high salary criteria. You can't just say, I make good money. You need to show the market. What do others in your position make, with very clear and objective data? And then you need to show you're not just slightly above that, you're making significantly above it. A few $1,000s more is not enough. In many cases, you're expected to show 2x, 3x, and even more. That's when USCIS says, okay, this person is clearly above the market. So again, EB-1A is not about meeting the criteria, it's about proving them convincingly. Let's go through a few examples. Awards, but not just any awards. They must be competitive and meaningful. Publications about you, this shows recognition. Judging others' work, this shows authority. Original contributions, one of the strongest criteria in my opinion. Did you create something? Did you impact your field? These go to the original contributions criteria. But again, saying I did something important is not enough. You need to prove the impact. There are the criteria you can consider: high salary, critical roles, publications, commercial success, etc. But the key is this: it's not about listing things. It is about showing you are truly at a high level. This is where most cases are lost. It's called final merits determination. USCIS first checks, did you meet some criteria? Then they step back and ask, is this person really among the top? Or is this just a well-organized file? You can meet 3 criteria and still get denied, because USCIS is not convinced that you've sustained national or international recognition. They want not just one-time success, but consistent recognition over time. My view in EB-1A cases, strategy is just as important as evidence. The same evidence can look weak or strong depending on how it's presented. Another critical part is recommendation letters. And people make mistakes here too. Generic letters don't help. What matters is who's writing it, how do they know you, what exactly are they saying, and most importantly, it must be specific. Not he's great, but what did you do? What impact did it have? Why does it matter? A strong letter builds your case. A weak letter just adds pages. It doesn't do anything. Let me give you the most common mistakes for EB-1A applications. Thinking O1 equals EB-1A eligibility automatically. No, that's not the case. They're similar, but not the same. EB-1A is usually a lot harder. Filing too early is another mistake. Sometimes waiting and strengthening your case changes everything. And just collecting documents without strategy might be another mistake. This is not just a document dump. This is a legal argument. You need to connect the criterion with your document. Another big one is defining your field incorrectly. If you define it too broad, your case might be a bit too weak. If you define it too narrowly, it might sound artificial. The balance is critical here. Let's get to the most practical question. Is EB-1A right for you? But first, ask yourself something more basic. Do you actually want a green card? Because a green card means you need to live in the United States, you have tax obligations and long-term commitment to the United States. If you don't actually want to live in the United States, EB-1A is not the issue. A green card itself is not for you. But now, if you talk about EB-1A specifically, ask yourself, do I have media coverage? Do I have awards? Have I judged others? Can I show high salary or success? Have I held critical roles? Can I prove impact? Do people reference my work? Is this consistent over time? If you can say strongly yes to several of these, your case may be worth trying. Let me be very honest. Let me be very clear. Sometimes people have very strong cases, but have no documentation, which happens a lot. And sometimes people have documents, but actually they don't have real impact. For EB-1A, you need both quantity and quality. If one is missing, your case becomes weak and you might get denied. Very briefly, first strategy, then case preparation, documents, collected letters prepared, petition drafted, etc. Then the I-140 form is filed, premium processing is available, but I don't always recommend premium processing. Sometimes officers move too quickly and don't, fully evaluate the case if you do premium processing. But let's say if you're approved, you either adjust status in the United States if you're eligible or go through consular processing. So EB-1A approval, I-140 approval is not the final step. It's a very, very strong step towards a green card, but not the final step. To summarize, EB-1A is a very powerful visa category, but it's not for everyone. Strong achievements, strong documentation, strong strategy, and a convincing case. And most importantly, showing 3 criteria on paper is not just enough. USCIS must be convinced you are truly at the top of your field. If you're wondering whether you qualify, your case should be evaluated professionally because sometimes you're ready, you don't even realize it. Sometimes you are not ready, but you think you are, but you need more time. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.